that are really important. So the first thing that I really like to do whenever I'm doing anything, you know, with the portal class or with the automatic email is show you what your client will be receiving when you set them up with an automatic email. All right, so I kind of walk through that, and then I'm going to go into the process of doing it because I want you to have a clear understanding of exactly what it is you're doing and what your client is going to be able to do. All right, the first thing that I need to emphasize is that when you create an automatic email, you do not just go ahead and enter an email address in the sender, the contact area, because once you've done that, you have sent information to a contact that they will continue to receive that you have no control over. So what that means is you have no ability to view what their activity is. You have no ability to reach out to them again. So basically what they can do is they can just go ahead and keep getting updates to their list and, you know, forever and ever. And, you know, some people, just like the loan companies, they use this information because maybe they're trying to get leads to other people, whatever it is, but you have no way, if you do not enter a recipient as a contact, of actually seeing what a contact is doing. And that's one of the benefits of the portal and also setting up the automatic email. Automatic emails are intended for your contact to receive updates as they come into the system that match your search criteria. One of the things that agents neglect to mention to contacts when they've set them up is that the information that they are receiving is directly from the MLS. It doesn't get any more current than the information that is in the MLS. It just doesn't. When there's a price change, if it is still within your contact's criteria, they will get an update. If there's a status change that is within your contact's criteria, they will get an update. If there's a new listing that is within their criteria, they will get an update. Okay? They are also able to perform searches from within their portal on their own. All right, so as you know, you see where I'm going with this. They have a lot of power with this portal, and it's also meant to make your job easier. All right, so let's take a very quick look at what a portal looks like. All right, I'm going to go into Keen and Jim's again. All right, so here's the deal. Now, this is BCC mode. So what happens is when your client receives an automatic email and they click on the link for the first time, what they're going to do is it's going to open to the My Agent tab. All right. And then they will have a little bit of information that you will customize, including your contact information and any of the photos that you want to use. There's also an area here that would allow you to actually enter a YouTube video, which is kind of a cool thing, but I'm not doing a creating the portal class. I'm doing an automatic email class. So all of that stuff, I actually go over in my portal class. When your client goes over here to find a home, what they are going to receive, and the view that you're looking at is the default that they get. So this is actually when they go in for the first time, excuse me, this is what they are going to see. So as you can see on the right-hand side, I have a whole list of listings. Now, all of these listings match the criteria, and you'll notice that they're flagged. So if there has been any recent activity, which they will be notified about via another email, it'll say that there has been a change or a listing's been updated, it's going to be flagged. So everything will say right here, if it's a new listing, if it's back on market, if it's if there's been a price change, it's going to tell them here with these little flags. So they see that. All right. They have the ability to get into full views of the property by clicking on the address. So this is going to take them to the customer full view, which will give them a little bit more detail on the listing. They have the ability, if you look over here to the far right of this listing, to identify certain listings as favorites, as possibilities, or they can go ahead and put them in delete, which actually doesn't delete them. What it does is it pulls them out of their view so that when they go back in and look at the listings, they don't have to see those listings again. All right. They have the ability from within the portal, which they receive when you set up an automatic email, to actually create their own search. And now that's one of the most powerful things that a portal and setting up an automatic email correctly can do for them. Because what you guys are hearing, and I know it because I even hear it, and I'm not an agent, but I hear it, you know, when I go in, well, you know, when I used to get my hair done or nails or whatever, I would hear from people, I'm looking for a house, and, you know, and I would say, what agent are you using? Oh, I'm using Zillow. They're the best. And I'm thinking, and I've told them, you know, Zillow is not an agent and you're not getting the best information. Oh, no, 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 no. They have everything. So you're competing with that constantly. And I know you are, and I know people are telling you that. So your argument to that is, you know what? When I set you up with an automatic email and you start receiving updates, you are connected to the same platform that I am connected to. And everything that you're seeing in any of the syndicated websites, that hits the MLS first. So you are getting the most current app information. And even though I've set you up to receive certain listings based on the criteria you've given me, you have the ability to create your own search. So all they have to do is go in, click on draw, pick an area, go up here to start new search, enter what they want to enter, apply, and they will get listings. They can save the search themselves. And so their saved search will also give them updates. All right. So there's really a lot that they can do. Okay. So now let's go ahead and let's get you guys so that you can set up your own saved search. First thing you have to do is set up the criteria. You are going to go to search. And for those of you that have taken my classes, you know my favorite search screen is CMA. And the reason why is because this is the screen. It's very small. It's very to the point. You can always update it by going down to additional fields like I did here and add specific fields. The one thing I am going to mention to you, because a lot of agents do this, you'll notice here that I've entered bathrooms total integer and fireplace yes or no. All right, so those are two examples of certain features that listing agents either don't always include details on or perhaps include inaccurate information. So for example, one of your contacts may have said, I'm looking for a home that has, you know, at least 1 3/4 bath. You may discover that you go in and do a search for 1 3/4 bath. And the problem is a lot of listing agents didn't break it down by bath feature or by bath size. They just went ahead and said there were 2 bathrooms on the property. So what's going to happen is the system's going to read that as 2 full bathrooms, and it's not going to show up in your search. And the same thing with fireplace. if you get specific about certain things that they want features, like is it gas, is it electric, does it have boulders in it, whatever it is, if you get specific about that in your original search, if a listing agent has not identified those features on their listing, it's not going to show up. So these are just kind of ways for you to allow the majority of your client base to get information on listings. So the first thing we need to do is select the specific statuses that we want included. I'm just going to go ahead and leave mine at coming soon and active. You will notice that I've left it blank here because I just want the system to find anything coming soon and active. And by the way, do not enter any kind of a date in coming soon. It is not reading the coming soon date perimeters. So just leave that blank. If you want to put active in going back, you know, every 3 days, whatever, fine. But again, you're going to get limited results. But please leave the coming soon search field blank when it comes to days back. Property subtype, identify it. Isolate the area or areas you want to search in. You can do that by entering a postal code or a city or an MLS area. And I emphasize or because if you start combining these or even subdivision in certain areas, if you start combining these, what happens is, again, if the listing is not identifying everything exactly as you've identified it, it's not going to pull up. So again, whatever way works best for you, then just go ahead and do that. If you do a map search, that's fine too. Okay, and that's actually the way that I would recommend that you guys identify areas. But you know, let's just say that you want to get this particular client up and running. You don't want to do a map search. Go ahead and, you know, pick the area names and do it. So the fastest way to do it is actually, I would recommend going into MLS area, unless this is an actual city like San Fernando or Sylmar or any of those. You're going to go over to the far right. And this is for all of these fields, you guys. Click it on. And when this area shows up, you are going to go in where it says search for and start entering the name of the area you want to search. All right, so you'll notice that when I did that, I have two options. I'm going to hold the control key on my computer. I'm going to select both of these options. I'm going to click add. So it comes over here to the left, or excuse me, to the right. I'm going to go back in. Click, add, and let's do one over here in so all of these areas are now included in my search. What a lot of agents do is they go in and they start trying to scroll through all this stuff. Don't, you guys. This is the tool that you use to enter multiple choices. And it just gets you there. It geocodes correctly. It knows what it's doing. Go ahead and do it. Now, the deal is I included in this search a Santa Clarita area. And by typing in Valencia, because that is actually considered a city, it gave me all of the different identified areas in Valencia. The reason that I did not enter it in city is that the system would read this to search in the city of Valencia for any of these MLS areas, Reseda Ranch, Northridge. And of course, we know that there is no Reseda in Valencia, right? So that's why it's important you pick one way to search. The best way to actually search areas, particularly if you have a client that is willing to be flexible about the area, you know, maybe, you know, they want to look in, go ahead and look in Santa Clarita, or go ahead and look in Burbank, or do this or do that. The best way to actually search for areas that are like that, where they have different ways of identifying areas, is to do a map search, okay? Because that's going to override everything. But in this situation, if I were to enter Valencia as the city, it's going to look for everything that's going to match with Valencia as the city. All right, and it's going to start, you're not going to get any results here except for in Valencia Northbridge. All right, okay. I'm going to go over and I'm going to enter my price range. Let's do 550. If there's any homes for that anywhere around. Let's do 950. We want 3 or more bedrooms. Again, I'm being very general. I'm not being specific. And I'm going to go down here to my bathrooms. And I'm looking for 2 bathrooms. I'll figure out the size later. So right now, I have 38 matches. Everything I've done is very general. The first thing I want to show you here before I get into anything else is, let's say that I just put the number 3 in here for bedrooms. Right now I have 38 listings. Let's go ahead and now see what happens. I'm down to 17. Okay. What if I were to go even down here to bathrooms and just do 2 bathrooms? I'm down to 21. So you can see that being flexible allows you to get more information out to your client. You're meeting their criteria, but you're being a little flexible. And also the same thing is true for the price, you guys. You would be amazed that, you know, you put an exact price in and suddenly you've got no results. So this is why you either want to do a range, a ceiling price, or, you know, a basement price. But whatever it is, you want to be flexible. All right. Once you've set up your search, you're then going to go over to the word results and click it on. Okay, now I realize this is a lot. You guys would probably do a tighter search, but that's okay for this class. What you need to do is make sure that you are in the right toolbar. So where it says actions and then there's 4 words, this is actually 4 different toolbars for the platform. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to click on save. All right, I want you to make a mental note of what I'm going to say right now. What a lot of agents do is before they email anything or save a search or do any of that, and I don't know why they do this, they select the listings. Here's the problem. When you select the listings, what you're telling the system to do is to override the criteria and just save and update only those listings. The same thing holds true for an automatic email. When you select the listings, you're telling the system only send updates to these listings. And so again, you've shot yourself in the foot because your client will not get any new listings, only updates that are still within your criteria to the listings that you've selected. So remember that you're not selecting listings, you're creating criteria that is going to update. And these are the results of that criteria. Click on New Auto Email. Okay. In this screen, we have a situation where you may or may not have entered a contact. Now, there is not one piece of correspondence I would send from this system without entering a contact. And of course, I went over that class yesterday and what you can do with your contacts, not only today, but up the road, is really pretty incredible. And if you have not taken that class, I would look for it on calendar next month, because it's important that you do not just go ahead and do the fundamentals when it comes to entering a contact, but that you spend the extra 30 seconds really entering contact information. But for the purpose of this class, we're going to go ahead and I can go ahead and choose from contacts I have already entered. Or if I don't see that contact, I can go ahead down here on the bottom where it says more, click it, go back, and it's going to give me the entire list of all of my active contacts. And then I can go ahead and pick it. Now, maybe I don't have their contact information entered, so I am going to go over here and I'm going to create a new contact. And you will do this if you do not have them in the system. Excuse me one second. Okay. You're going to enter a first name, last name, and their email address. Then you're going to click save. And I would not recommend entering a contact like that. I would go back into this contact and enter all of their information. But for this class, that's all you need to do to get them added as a contact. That's the bare minimum. The next thing you're going to do is enter a subject. All right. This information is going to go out to them. Your message will be personalized. And I actually do that. So the deal is, you can personalize this for each person. So maybe you know that Sneezy is really a person that doesn't like a lot of words. I can actually go in and I can change this message. All right. I mean, you probably are going to want to put more than that, but you can actually make this for every single one of your clients. You can customize it to however you think that's going to, you know, reach to them. They're only going to receive the welcome email one time. You see this little gear down here? If this is the message I want to send to all of my clients all of the time, I would set this as a default. So whenever you set a default, that means that you don't have to worry about it. It's going to automatically take care of it. All right. I'm not setting this as a default because Sneezy is a person that doesn't like a lot of words. And so I'm just going to leave it very basic for him. The next tab is the recurring email. So this is the message that will appear for every subsequent update to the criteria. All right. So whatever you want to put in there, you know, here's more listings, you know, go ahead and do it. Again, you can change this for every single one of your clients, or you can just set a basic one. You don't go in every time to update it, because once you've set it, that's it. The system is going to go ahead and take care of your work, really. They're going to send the updates so that you don't have to be monitoring the updates. That's what the system was set up to do. A lot of agents waste time sending emails to themselves and then, you know, going ahead and then clicking the ones they want and then sending it to the client. It's this whole big thing. And what happens when they do that is they actually lose interface with the client on a certain level. So don't do that. That's what the system's supposed to do. I'll show you a way to vet the listings here in just about 30 seconds. So I'm going to go down here. There's my criteria. And now here's where we get into the nitty-gritty. All right. You'll notice in the settings area that I have some questions that I need to answer. Do I want to enable this in concierge mode? And do I want to make this available for reverse prospecting? So I'm going to go backwards. Yes. You always want to make sure that this is available for reverse prospecting. It's very important. And that also ties into information that is visible to a listing agent, but it does not infringe upon any of the privacy of who your client is. So in other words, the listing agent will be able to see that you have a contact that is, can I word this? That is pre-approved for a loan, but they don't know who that contact is. They have to reach out to you. But if you don't do this, then your buyer's information is not available for someone to reach out to you and say, hey, look, let's talk. Your client's reference number is this. Could you reach out to them and see if they're interested? Okay. And that I include that in the contacts class. So please make sure that this is selected, because that's going to make it easy for you. And if you're a listing agent, it makes it easy for the listing agent. All right. This is where a lot of agents, and I'm going to use a little Irish saying my grandma used to say, is this is where they get their knickers in a knot. Concierge mode is actually a function that allows the listing agent to vet through listings before they are sent to the contact. Why would I not do that for every client? The biggest reason is you're creating more work for yourself. That's the biggest reason. Because you may have gone in, you set up their criteria, you're creating a tool for them that will allow them to see updates as they come into the MLS that match their criteria. If you do not go into the system and read the listings and select the ones you want to send, nobody will get anything. And I cannot tell you the number of calls I've gotten from agents that are in a panic because they set up an automatic email and none of their clients have gotten anything. And then I go into their account and they have like 11 clients and there's now 100 listings, and they've got to go through and read every one of those listings and decide which one's going to go. That's not the purpose of this tool. What I would use concierge mode for, and this is what makes you a star with some individuals. You have a contact that has told you, I am not interested in looking at any property where the front door is not west facing. You know, I don't know where these people come up with this stuff, but you and I know they pull it out of a hat and that's it. I don't know if it's to test and see what, you know, how serious you are or whatever it is, but you know that they do it. In concierge mode, for clients like that have been very specific, I don't want to be bothered with any listing that is not west facing. If the front door isn't west facing, I don't want to see it. Concierge mode allows you to set up the criteria like we did, somewhat general. It allows you to see the results because you are going to get notifications that there has been an update. You are going to be able to go in and discover which of those listings you're going to send to your client, if any. But the bottom line is your client's not receiving anything that isn't west facing because you're personally reviewing every listing before it goes to your client. So concierge mode is for a very specific reason. All right, and I'm going to show you guys towards the end what that looks like. But moving on. So all I've got selected in settings is that I want this available for reverse prospecting. I'm going to go down here to schedule, and this is where I tell the system how and when I want to set up my contact to receive notifications. All right, so you'll notice that there's actually 3 different ways I can set up to receive notifications. One of the most popular ways here is daily. And you'll notice that this gives you the ability to actually assign specific days and actually a specific time, if you will. So in conversation with your client, you've decided that you're going to go ahead and send them updates to the criteria, or the system will, every Monday night. So every Monday night at approximately 6 p.m., they will receive any updates that have happened to their criteria, to the search. You've also thought that maybe Friday morning would be a good day for them to receive updates, and they will receive updates every Friday morning as well at approximately 8 a.m. All right, so you've done everything you were supposed to do. You discussed this with your client, and all of a sudden you get this raging phone call that they went into the best thing since popcorn, Zillow, and there's a listing in Zillow, and it's not showing up in this portal, and this is horrible, it doesn't work, and blah, blah, blah. And so you go in and you look and you find the listing, and you know, oh my God, I need to call Kit. Automatic email isn't working. My listing, it didn't come through. So I go ahead, I look, and I see that, gee, Sam, that listing went on market Tuesday evening. Your client is not expected to get another update until Friday morning. So the system's doing what you told it to do. So that happens. Now, this is something you need to make very clear. If you set someone up on a schedule, is that if they are looking in other syndicated websites, they may see information before, because as a schedule, it's only going to send the updates on the days that you have identified. ASAP. If you have set up a truthful criteria, and that means you shouldn't really be getting any more than 10 or 15 listings in your original email, depending upon the area you're in. If you are setting up the criteria in a responsible way, where it's general, but it's also reflective of what the client needs, ASAP is the way to go because they are only going to get updates when things change. So if there's a new listing, price change, status change, they will get a notification, and they will get it within 15 minutes of the update into the MLS system. Okay? If I were you and you have been responsible with setting up your criteria, ASAP is probably the way to go because it's going to eliminate, well, Zillow had it and the MLS doesn't. I just don't understand that. And of course, you just want to roll over laughing because you're thinking, oh, okay, I don't know how that got it before the MLS did, but okay. ASAP is going to work. It's going to work for you most of the time. So I've set up my automatic email. I've lectured you guys to death. And now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click the word save. And bada bing, bada boom, the system has now set up an automatic email. Okay. Now, once you've set up the automatic email, and when your client goes in and opens it for the first time, guess what? You're going to see their name right here in recent portal visitors. And every single time they go into that portal, it's going to tell you. And it's going to tell you the date, and if it's on the same day as you're looking, it's actually going to give you the time they went in. If they have loved or liked something, there will be a little heart or a light bulb that will be displayed next to their name. And I can see all that by just logging in and looking here, okay? I can go in further by clicking on the little light bulb or heart to see which listings they've loved or liked. All right. If they have sent me a note, it's going to appear here. So I can click that on and go in and see what message was that they sent me. Okay. How do I edit an automatic email? We are going to go to My Matrix, and we are going to go down to where it says Automatic Emails and click it. One of the things I encourage people to do is, rather than scrolling, that you actually use your search functions. So I'm going to click in search, and I am going to enter Sneezy. Wow, it came right up. I am going to click on the name of the search. When I am in here, there's actually several things I can do. The first thing I can do is, maybe my client said, you know, I really don't want to hear from you again. Don't ever send me another thing. Get me out of your system, whatever. So you can actually go over here and delete the automatic email. One of the things you do want to advise your contact is that if they no longer want to receive notifications, to please just pop you a little email so that you can go ahead and disable the emails. Because if they disable it on their side, then it's a whole other ball of wax that they have to do, okay? So don't even get involved in that. Just ask them to please tell you. Settings. You may be able to actually, rather than just deleting an automatic email, you may have gotten that phone call. Look, I really want to buy a house, but you know what? My mother-in-law is really sick and I can't focus on this. Is there any way we can kind of put everything on hold for a while? And you can do that very easily by going to settings, and up here on the upper left, you're going to see a little message that says turn this auto email into a saved search. If I click that on, it's going to allow me to actually stop the notifications from going to my client, but it will save the criteria until I get the next phone call. Thank you so much. Is there any way you can set me up with that auto email again? You go back in, you verify their contact information, and you turn the save search in the same way that I just did this for the auto email. You're going to go back in to save search. You're going to go up to the left and you're going to turn the save search into an auto email. I always recommend doing that stuff because sometimes it's better than going in and having to rebuild Rome. You're going to notice here, I have a lot of different things I can do. So resend welcome. You've noticed that your, excuse me, that your contact, it's been a couple of weeks. Your contact hasn't opened the automatic email. How do you know that? Because their name's not appearing in recent portal visitors. So you call them and you go, dude, what's going on? You haven't opened your automatic email. Well, gee, I never received it. I was wondering what happened to it. By going in, just like I did, clicking on the name of the automatic email, you can resend the welcome. Only this time, you want to make sure to advise them, hey, look in your spam, because sometimes it goes into spam for the first time. So in that way, and by the way, sometimes Hotmail accounts do that. I'm just giving you a heads up because remember, I send a lot of information to myself for, for training purposes. And there was a time that it was all going into junk. All right, just giving you a heads up. So if they haven't opened it within a couple of weeks or a week or so, you may want to reach out to make sure that you have their information correct and then have them look in junk and resend it. Okay. Now, to update criteria, all you have to do is go here to results. Click it on. Go here to criteria and update what you want to update. They've decided they want a bigger house, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they don't want to look in, all of these areas, or maybe they want to add more. It doesn't really matter. And they decided, they didn't tell you this, that they wanted a fireplace. So I can go ahead and update this stuff. I'm going to go back to results. And there's a reason I train people to update save searches and automatic emails this way. Because when I go here to save, I have options. Do I want to update this search or automatic email in this case? Or do I want to go ahead and create an entirely separate one? I really wouldn't recommend creating more than one auto email for a contact because it just gets to be too much. But that's your thing. What I'm going to do is go ahead and I am going to simply update. So it's going to override the original information and create new criteria. Goes back into this page and I'm going to click the word save. All right. Now, I'm going to go back in here to auto email and let's go back to Sneezy. Oh, shoot. What happened? Sometimes this happens. Live classes are just a wonderful thing. Oh, I went up too high. Every now and then your teacher has problems. All right, so you'll notice I didn't even enter all of Sneezy, just a portion of their name, and he showed up. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna click this on, see what's going on here. And guess what? I'm gonna click it to the far left, and I can disable it from here by clicking disable. All right. That's how to set up an automatic email. The basic thing. But what we are going to do now is we're going to take a look at some items that I have in Concierge, and then I've got a surprise for you at the very end. That's how I keep everybody hanging on till the end here. I am actually going to go to this little red bell. I want you to look to the right where it says my name. You're going to notice a little bell, and there's a little red dot with a number in it. So what that number represents is the number of contacts that I have in concierge mode. If I click it on, it goes ahead and it shows me my clients and the number of listings that they have waiting for me to read. So you can see that, for example, Mr. Big has 11 listings. And the bottom line is, imagine if I had 4 or 5 people that all had 11 listings. That starts creating a whole nother level of work for you. So what I'm going to do is I am actually from here going to go ahead and click him on. Because now I've got to read through these listings to see which ones I'm going to send him. Because we're just going to say that he was one of those really picky people, and I got yelled at the last time for sending him something he didn't want to see. So I'm going to read through all of these listings, and you can actually go through these guys by looking at them on the full agent view. Okay, so you can just do that from here. You can go to the next listing. And oh, wow, this is exactly what he wanted. You see the little box to the left of the address? I can go ahead and click that on. I'm going to go to the next listing. Maybe this is a house he liked. Next, and so on and so forth. Okay. Once I've gone through and I've selected my listings, I am going to go down to where it says Approve Selected. I'm going to go ahead and change this back to the Agent 1 line to make it a little easier for you guys to see. So these are the 3 listings I've approved. I'm going to approve selected. And guess what? Those listings went. So only the listing I wanted went into that portal for him to view. Now I've got all of these listings left. So let's just say that there were a couple of these that maybe we want to look at again, but we know that there's some of these that we just don't want to see in this list anymore. So what you do is you go ahead and you select what you don't want to see, and then you click reject. Now, those listings are not thrown away. They're actually just put out of your view because they're not useful to you. So when I go back in to Mr. Big's portal, I can actually say, you know what, maybe I want to see what was in this rejected list. So I can actually go back in there by clicking on and seeing if these are any listings that I may want to send. But I don't want to send them. I don't need to see any more of them again. So I'm just going to go back to show unsent and click done, and boom. These are all of my contacts. So I could actually, if I wanted to go into Sylvia's stuff or Abel's stuff, I can go in there from here if I want. And when you create a concierge search update, you also get a widget. But I personally think with all of this static on your homepage, just easier to use the bell and you'll get notified. All right. Now I'm going to show you a fun thing, and then I'm going to take a look at if you guys have any questions. So here's the deal. You are going to go, and you're going to do this right after the class. You're going to go to My Matrix, Summary, Settings, then you are going to find the widget that says Portal Notification Settings. Oh my, what is this? All right. All of this stuff about I have to go into Matrix to see if they've opened it. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Guess what? You have a way that you can identify to be notified immediately if your contacts have performed certain activities within their portal. Okay. So you're going to notice that I have a couple of things selected for notify me ASAP via text, or maybe I have a few things I've identified as wanting to see a daily summary of. Some people use a lot of email. I personally am so over email, it's ridiculous. But you know what? If you're a person that is really into the email thing, you can click that too. I mean, these are just my personal opinions and ideas. But remember, I'm all about streamlining life. If I can make it easier for me, that's what I'm going to do. So in my opinion, I would like to be able to be notified via a text message when I have a client that has saved an item as a favorite. Now, why do I want that? Because it allows me as a listing agent or working with a buyer, or whatever, to be able to reach out to that client sooner than later. Hey, I saw you liked that property on Love Street. Did you want to see it? Is there something, blah, 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 whatever. You guys know your base better than I do. But the point is, you're going to be notified. Maybe you would like to know when they add a note, because remember, your client has the ability to go into the portal and add a note. Hey, I really want to see this house. I want to see it as soon as possible. Is there any way we can go in and see it sometime today or tomorrow? So you're going to get a note. You're going to get notified that there was a note. So that allows you to be able to read that note and realize whether or not you have to reach out now or it can wait for another hour or so. Or how cool is it that you have a new contact who went into their portal for the first time? This allows you to be able to go in and say, what did you think of the portal? Do you have any questions? Do you know that you can do your own search? Let me know if there's anything else you want to know or need. A summary may be of discarded listings. Why? Because that allows me to see for some contacts when they're discarding listings, what are the similarities? Because then that allows you to better serve your contact, right? It allows you to say, hey, I've noticed that every house that they've discarded has a red door. So maybe now you know that, you don't want them, you're not going to be asking them if they want to see a house that has a red door, because you already know they don't. They've discarded all those listings. Okay. Or maybe when they save a search in the portal, because remember, they can save their own search. So what does this allow you to do? It allows you to kind of go in there and see what it is that they're willing to do. Are they willing to spend a little bit more money? Are they willing to go out of the areas they told you a little further? So again, it gives you more information and insight. This doesn't create more work for you. It gives you a better advantage with your client base. So you decide what you want to see, when and how you want to see it. But remember, this is supposed to streamline your life. So if you select that you want to see everything and you have 20 clients, guess what? You're not going to get any sleep anymore. It's over. Or you're going to go into your email one day and there's going to be, 500 emails. That's what you have to think of. So while it may look like this is a great thing, it also could become your worst enemy, right? So think about it. To set yourself up to receive these notifications, you go down and it's going to prompt you to enter your phone number, your phone carrier. It's going to send you a code to your phone for you to go ahead and authorize that this take place. And when all that happens, you're going to go down here and you're going to click save, and you are on the road to success. Okay, are there any questions? I'm going to go up here to the Q&A and see what I've got going on here. Okay. Well, Sam, you got to come to more classes. Everything I teach is gold. I'm telling you. Lots and lots and lots of things you guys can do. No questions? You guys just passed out from all the stuff you can do, all this phenomenal information. I'm telling you. Okay, so what I want you guys to remember is that the platform is big. So what that means is that there's a lot you can do. But maybe you just want to keep it real simple. You can do that too. All right, everything I have shown you are just tools that you can either choose to use or not to use. That's completely up to you. So my job is to try and make your life easier and better. That's when it comes to your professional growth. And that's what I want for you guys. That's my job. And you would not believe this, but since the class started, I've gotten 4 more notifications for my loan. I tell you, it's ridiculous. All right. I want everybody to have a wonderful weekend. I know it's only Thursday, but as you can see, I'm already looking forward to it. And if you have any questions, I'm going to enter my email address here. Make this a little bigger so you guys can read it. So you can send any questions to KathleenY@srar.com, and I will be more than happy to assist you in the best way I can. And tell them that I'm renting, not owning. They found me, Sam. That's it. I'm done. I'm cooked. All right, everybody, have a great weekend, and I'm here for you if you have any questions. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.